enjoy my man, John Bucket Time! If you're looking for soccer bets, you have come to the right place. If you're looking for entertainment, you have come to the right place. If you're looking for a blonde bombshell, you've come to the right goddamn place. Buckets, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing as well as I can be doing on Valentine's Day as a single guy with his dog, Ian. I'm happy to be here. We've got Champions League taking place this afternoon. Please give me something to root for here this afternoon, but a great week of games ahead of us.
Yeah, listen, before we get into it, we got to say very happy Valentine's Day to all of our loyal listeners out there, the freaks. We know you fucking love us. We love you as well. There are a few women starting to creep up into the subscribers, I have noticed. I'm going to delve into the stats a little bit later on in the show, but at the same time, Buckets, would you like to take this moment to say happy Valentine's Day to anyone special?
Nope.
Okay, moving on with the show then, Buckets. Listen, I just want to say great job with this past week. It has been a record-breaking stoppage time episode. Episode 6 was. It was something pretty special, Buckets. We set out this goal a long time ago when me and you came together and we said, you know what? Let's do this, man. Let's just create it ourselves and have some fun and start to really enjoy creating a product that we're proud of and set a target. So we said, you know what? Let's aim for like maybe 5,000 views within the first 6 months. And yeah, we did that this week. We did a hell of a lot more, buddy.
Yeah, we did. And only what, 2 months in, a month and a half in? It just shows what we do all along, Ian, that the loyal listeners and the freaks love this content and they want more of it every week.
So as I just said there, we set a task out for ourselves to be 5,000 views within the first 6 months. We managed to eclipse 7,000 views and it's still counting now, even though all the bets are gone. Even though Buckets has had relatively good success on that show, we are still getting people tuning into that episode because they want to be entertained, Buckets. Do you want me to tell you some statistics from our YouTube success? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it. Give me all the stats.
I'm going to need some answers from you as well, though, while we're going through this one. It's not just about the stats. It's also about the answers, okay? All right. So 8% of notifications have been switched on for YouTube. So when a video is dropped by us here at Stoppage Time, they get a little ting in their box and says, yo,
You've got
new
mail.
episode drop. What do you think?
I think 8% is a good start, but we need a lot more people getting their tings in their boxes or whatever you just called it. So don't be afraid to click that little bell and turn on notifications.
Yeah, I fucking agree. And to you 92% out there, how about this for a statistic? 42% of people watching our videos are not even subscribed to our fucking channel. What's that all about?
You said 42%?
42% of people who have been watching the videos are not subscribed to our channel yet, because this is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, no, that is not okay. Make sure you're clicking that subscribe button because you don't want, which side do you want? A pissed off Ian coming at you every episode. That is not fun.
Almost got you to swear that, Buckets. This one in particular is just for you. We have gone up in the female rankings, Buckets. 10.4% of viewers are now females. We also jumped, I want to say a little something here. We also jumped in the category of 18 to 24-year-olds, Buckets. So females have gone up 10.4%. We've jumped into the category of 18 to 24-year-olds, which has jumped up. Do you think that's because we've been talking about your single dating life?
Well, I hope not, because if we're talking about my single dating life, I'd rather see that 35 to 50 age group go up there. Personally, Ian, my preference there. But still, I'm not going to say no to new viewers anywhere.
On that note, Buckets, we have noticed that 1.1% of 65-year-olds and older have also increased. So do you think that that's because we've been talking about your single dating life?
Oh, that is absolutely because of my single dating life. 65 plus year olds absolutely adore me, Ian. So that number is going to continue to spike the more I'm on here.
Happy Valentine's Day to all you new loyal listeners out there. We mentioned the word freaks, and I'm sure there's a few of you out there. We love you. Happy Valentine's Day. On X, we've had relatively good success as well. I've noticed that we've had over 800,000 impressions over the last 28 days alone. I've been told, Buckets, that is pretty good numbers, and we've been very active on there.
We have been. I actually went and got drinks with a platonic buddy there, nothing special, last night. And I told her that we have 800,000 impressions in the last month. And she said, what does that mean? And I told her, no idea, but it's a big number and it sounds good to me, Ian.
All right. All right. Sounds like a fun friend there, Buckets. Let's get into a little bit of a celebration for me this time. It is, of course, happy Valentine's Day to my wonderful wife, Hot Cocoa, out there. I love you dearly. Even though Buckets doesn't want to share this with anyone, I will say it also to my mother who's out there watching the show. And I'm
Oh,
sure somewhere in Scotland. Got you, Buckets.
yep.
But I also want to say a very happy birthday to my Valentine baby. That is Alessandra Rose Joy. She turned 9 years old today, and we had a little celebration today. And even though me and Hot Cocoa have not been feeling well over the last 5 or 6 days, you may have noticed I've lost about 6 pounds because of let's just say running to the bathroom and not being able to eat any food for 6 days. It is still an enjoyable day today because my daughter turned 9 years old and she ran straight into her room to celebrate her birthday. So happy birthday to Alessandra. And Buckets, I'm going to leave the floor for you to grab the attention of your mother.
Yeah, happy birthday to Alessandra. I totally did not forget that, of course, I have a special Valentine in my life, not just this year, but every year. Mama Buckets, if you were out there watching, if you haven't clicked off because of all the swearing yet, happy Valentine's Day to you. You are truly the most important woman in my life, and you always will be. Aw.
See, Mama Buckets, it's not all bad for me, okay? I may say the curse word 1 or twice a show, maybe 10 times, okay, 15. But at the same time, I've still got you in the back of my head. I know you're watching it, so happy Valentine's Day to you as well. Buckets, let's run through the weekend and just sort of review what happened because I kind of want to know if you got back into profit this week.
We were very close, and this was a bit of a bizarre week for me, so I'm going to give everyone the rundown here. Basically, it was win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, just up, down, up, down. So if you tailed every other day, you did really well or really poorly. We started off on Thursday with Maskovezd Zoli versus Paxi FC. I had Paxi over 1.5 team total. They won 1-0. One of those tough ones because the money line was a bit juicier, so I ignored it, but the money line did pull through. Second bet, Hamburg versus Hanover. Both teams scored over 2.5. This hit in like the first 6 minutes or something. That game ended up with 7 goals, with Hanover winning 4-3. We're going to be coming back to this team a lot, so keep an eye on the second Bundesliga there. Sunday, Luton Town over 1.5 team total at -130. Luton Town lost to Sheffield United. What? 3-1, 4-1, something. Yeah, thumbs down, boo on that one. But of course, we bounced back with Frosinone, both teams to score. An absolute staple here on the show as they lost 5-1 to Fiorentina, but they got the one, and that's all that matters. Monday, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. Chelsea to score in the first half. I did not watch this match because I was busy. I saw it ended 3-1, and I was like, oh, perfect. Surely one of those goals came in. Nope. Chelsea scoring 2 goals in stoppage time, winning 3-1, but no look in the first half. And we ended, I can't remember the name of the parlay, but with the championship parlay, Leicester City over 1.5 team total and Leeds over 1.5 team total at +115. That was a first half cash in. We are going to keep betting championship clubs.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a lot of goals happening in the championship right now. But congratulations, Buckets, back to winning ways and certainly getting closer to that profit that you would so desire. I know for your loyal listeners out there, they've been waiting patiently and creating the community that we've created with our loyal listeners, the freaks out there. It's been pretty special to see how patient they have been as well. They were rewarded this weekend. Many people take the information that we provide and they make their own bets. And what I noticed this weekend, that people didn't disappoint. They made profit whether we did or not. They took the information, they ran with it. That's why we're here. Take our bets if you want. If you don't, take the information we provide. Because the information that Buckets provides around one single play that he hands out for every single day, that is enough information to get maybe 6 or 7 different bets out of. I would say maybe even 25 if you wanted to go that deep into it. That's how far we dive into the stats, and that's what you're getting from our show, Stoppage Time. Buckets, my best bet for the weekend, fucking missed.
Oh. What was it? Oh, that's what it was. Ugh.
I was on the Leverkusen against Bayern Munich game. I was on Bayern Munich draw, no bet. It was -120 on the sports books. It actually moved to +135 before kickoff. It went from -120, Bayern Munich draw, no bet, to +135. And it just goes to show you that people started to read the script, that Leverkusen were going to spring a result here, and bets were starting to go on Leverkusen getting the win. And did they get the win? Holy shit, they smashed your boys. Stanisic got the opening goal 18 minutes into the game. Grimaldo scored another cracking goal 50 minutes into the game. And Frimpong wrapped things up 90+5 to make it 3-0 to Leverkusen. Stanisic scored his first goal for Leverkusen in his 20th competitive match for the club. By the way, he is owned by Bayern Munich, so scoring against his parent club, which is weird, also chose not to celebrate, but he's been a good addition for Leverkusen. I'm just going to throw it out there. We also say that this is a great one. How about this one? For the first time in 8 years, Bayern Munich only managed one single shot on target in a Bundesliga game. How crazy is that?
That's a tough stat. But if you watch the game, I mean, Leverkusen were all over them from the get-go. I think Leverkusen ended with 9 or 10 shots on target. Bayern Munich, frankly, looked a little bit lost, Ian, I thought.
Yeah, they look very poor, Bayern Munich. They were very, very poor. And they look disjointed, and it kind of makes me a little bit concerned about what's coming up for Bayern Munich, obviously, with the title race and in the Champions League as well. As we record the show, they're about to make their game against Lazio. So who knows what that result is going to be. Probably is going to be a big win for Bayern because they seem to turn up in the Champions League. But at the same time, this Bayern Munich, who the fuck knows? We don't know. You know who might know?
Who?
The loyal listeners. You ready for some comments?
Oh, yeah, let's get into it.
Let's go. All right, we begin with Stephen Lochner, who's been a big fan favorite. Man, this guy is a fucking legend. Some of the positivity he shares around our groups is insane. Keep it coming, Stephen. We appreciate you. Shout out to Buckets and IPJ, day one follower. I'm proud to say it. The entertainment factor is a draw in itself. The picks are a bonus to the people that come, collect the best bets, and then leave without watching all of the content. You are missing out. Buckets and IPJ actually give a fuck. The progression from show to show has shown since the return of your break, and I will continue to follow and support in any way that I can. Thank you both for everything. Don't ever change. Shout out to Steve.
Shout out to Steve. Steve was watching our live show where we broke down the Champions League matches yesterday and was updating us on our championship best bet while also watching the live show. So Steve is one hell of a supporter here.
He's a big fan, and we appreciate you, Steve, because we're big fans of you as well. Let's go to Elias Ramirez Moreno. Buckets and IPJ, been with y'all from the beginning for the World Cup, but this is my first ever comment. Love the show and everything that you both plan to bring this year. Glad to share 60 minutes every single Wednesday. Listen, we plan to make that change from every Wednesday to every goddamn day sometime in the near future, but we appreciate you. Elias Ramirez Moreno, Buckets. First comment. Congratulations.
Elias Ramirez Romero, I think is how you said it. I can't do that role at all, but thank you for taking the time to comment, because that means he probably made a YouTube account just to subscribe and just to comment on our channel. So that is the kind of support we love, Ian.
Shout out to Edward Buffman. Finally finished the show. Was a busy weekend, but doesn't matter how many days. Always finish the show. I love it. Fucking bomb as usual. Need to get into the personal wager action. Have a good week, gents. Edward Buffman, what a legend. We appreciate you. Let's go to DH as no name. I don't even know what that means. Stoppage time. I have arrived. D has no name. D has no name. I've got it correctly. Stoppage time, I have arrived. Welcome in. D has no name. I'd like you to have a name so we can give you a shout out properly. We've got Kirk jumping in and saying, great show. Thanks as always. Kirk jumping back in and saying, my best bet this weekend, Wolves over team total 1.5. Luton team total over 1.5. Parlay it together. Let's go to Nick Mace. He said, positive vibes only. Win or lose, this is the best show in the game. Love that IPJ and Buckets touch on mental health issues and staying strong throughout the ups and the downs of life. Also, the only show that encourages betting responsibly on a consistent basis, you guys. Hashtag have it. Nick, we appreciate you. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the shout out. We fucking love you. And everybody look after your mental health. And of course, with that comes betting responsibly, Buckets.
Absolutely. If you look at my Tinder bio, Ian, it says there's nothing sexier than an individual who bets responsibly. And I believe that through and through to my very core. It doesn't matter how many bad days you have or good days you have. If you're betting responsibly and being smart about your wagers, you'll always be okay in the end.
Now that you brought up Tinder, let's just jump in there for a quick second, because obviously you opened the door for me. How's the action going?
No action right now. I have decided, Ian, I forgot something, and I should have told you this. I should have told Jeff this and the viewers this. I forgot to tell everyone, I'm actually already married. I'm married to the grind, Ian. I'm out here finding winners every day. I don't have time for dating or relationships or talking to women. I'm too busy, hopefully, finding winners this week. So that's what I'm focused on.
You're married to your business now, because Stoppage Time is not just your own show. It is a product. It is a business. Now you are invested heavily in this business, and your partner is fucking me. So I'm glad you actually said that one. Hot Coco understands. I'm married to you as well. Let's go to SPS CRM. The Crickets. You remember the cricket suns that producer Jeff put in with your results from last week? And I want to discuss a few things after that, but very quickly, rattle through them.
All right, let's rattle through them super quickly, and we're going to start with the winners, Ian. All right, got that out of the way. Good on us.
That was fucking epic.
Thanks, Jeff.
Apparently, the loyal listeners loved that one as well. Let's go to Long Money Larry. He says, I love Bucket's overall approach, especially with mental health. Positive vibes to both of you. Shout out to Long Money Larry.
Yeah, big Long Money Larry fan. He's in the Discord. He's on Twitter. Larry's long, whatever it is. Long Larry, welcome back, brother. We're always loving. Man, this is a tough one. We always love having you here, brother. Welcome.
Valentine's Day. I didn't realize it was going to shake you this badly,
my
buddy.
mind
But
is shot right now.
I'm so glad that we managed to make this happen on Valentine's Day. Let's go to Doc Younge. He said, let's stoke this fire and ride a fucking hot streak. Thanks for the information, boys. Great show. Pretty epic story about Uncle Gord. R.I.P. Thanks, Doc Younge. Shout out, of course. And we appreciate all your following and love. Let's go to Caleb Cassie. He says, personally, I'm on a break from gambling, but I still watch the show every week because it's amazing. Keep up the good work, fellas. That's the type of loyal listener we want. Take breaks when you feel like you need to take breaks. You don't even need to be gambling to enjoy our show.
You absolutely don't need to be gambling to enjoy our show, and never feel bad about taking breaks. And also, don't let the FOMO get to you in the gambling space. If you're taking a break and we go 6-0 this week, that is okay that you missed that. Take care of your mental health. Make sure you're in the right space before you jump into the gambling, if you do again.
Shout out to Zach. He says, great show, guys. Gunnar watching from Austin, Texas. Vamos. Do you know what a Gunnar is?
I got to figure out what a Vamos is too, but I do not know what a Gunnar is. Gunner? Arsenal?
Yes, correct. And vamos is like, let's go in Spanish, just so you know. We go to Reed Phillips. Rad, he says, this show making all of us with a million different emojis. I'm sure you can see it right there. Every single one of them meaning something different. Shout out to Reed Phillips. We appreciate you. We've got Will Torres jumping in and saying, I had a 7-leg parlay plus 10,738. The last leg was Girona versus Sociedad BTTS. Both scored in the first half and both goals were called back. So naturally, I was fuming. If you guys want to see the ticket, let me know. We don't need to see it, Will Torres. We believe you. The loyal listeners out there will believe you as well. That's a sore loss right there, Buckets.
That's a tough one. And VAR has felt very personal lately, Ian. I don't know if you're feeling that too, but I feel like every single game that I'm wagering right now, VAR is taking an extra close look at damn near everything. So that Girona one was tough, but you'll get it back.
Yeah, we got to discuss a few things, especially when it comes to a fucking blue card that they might introduce into the game. That'll be a topic we can get into. We've got Nevin Perel jumping in and saying, good show, great graphics, best bets, fire, bang, clap, whatever that means. No war chant. That comes in from Alvaro Dumancella. Producer Jeff, no war cry. We've noticed that the war cry has been fading a little bit. However, Buckets, we brought it back for the X live show on the Champions League, which has been a really good success story. So if people want to hear the war cry, they should tune into our socials a bit more.
They should turn to, oh my goodness, man, today is tough. They should tune in to our socials more, but also, Jeff, you can't leave out the war cry. The people need that energy every single show.
I honestly think that there's a possibility we can actually do the war cry live, because the reason why I couldn't do it previously was because when we were doing our shows or recording our shows, it was a different format. Now, producer Jeff is a bit of a genius when it comes to making shit work. So hopefully down the line, I'm going to test it out with producer Jeff at some point. I'm going to start screaming into this goddamn microphone and hopefully make it work. We've got Craig Kelly jumping in saying, Ian, as a fellow Scotsman, who is your Scottish team? Mine is Kilmarnock. Craig, well, as you notice, it is very controversial back where we grew up to pick a team, especially when you come from a town where I come from. I grew up in a town called Bowness, which was red, white, and blue. As you know, that means a certain side of the religious category. And I was one who decided to rebel on that, not necessarily go to the opposite side of Glasgow, but at the same time, I followed my local teams. I like Falkirk, I like Livingston. I used to go watch best players play as much as possible. Loved watching Paul Gascoigne play when he was at Rangers. Loved watching John Collins play when he was playing for Celtic. I have heroes all across Scottish football. So if it was to choose a team, it would probably be one of my local teams. But realistically, I just like Scottish football in general. I love the rivalry between Rangers and Celtic. But of course, I went on to play for St. Parlay, which is an affiliation with Glasgow Celtic. So yeah. There's your answer. Last one, almost. We've got pretty sweet waking up to this. Let's go, gents. That's from Wagers. We appreciate Wagers buckets. That one's a pretty positive comment right there.
That's a very positive comment. And he's someone that comments a lot on all social media, someone that understands there's more to this than just the betting aspect. Even though his name is Wagers, I'm a big fan of that.
Then there was Kyle G.
Oh. Parlay Kyle.
Just for shits and giggles, and to fully embrace IBJ's nickname, here's a parlay for Saturday, the 17th. Brentford, Liverpool, both teams to score, plus Leverkusen money line over 1.5, plus Chelsea team total over 0.5 at Manchester City. Combined odds currently on ESPN Bet are plus 289. Best of luck this weekend. Looking forward to the next episode. Kyle G. Buckets. Kyle loves a fucking parlay, man.
Kyle loves a parlay, and I don't think he's missed a parlay yet either, so I can't criticize him for what he's doing until it stops working. So, Kyle, I'm going to be tailing that, but all eyes on you for this one.
All right, let's discuss real quickly before we get into your best bets what I was mentioning in a moment ago, that there was this new ruling that potentially we could see testing for a blue card in the beautiful game of soccer. Of course, right now we have a red card, we have a yellow card, and we have video review intervening every 2 fucking goddamn minutes in our sport. And that affects betting tremendously. For the betting space, the blue card may also really have an impact on your bets, because what the blue card would essentially mean is that a player would leave the field for 10 minutes, and you would have an advantage for 10 minutes before that player comes back onto the field. That's the gist of the story. At some point, I'll try to get Christina Uncle on the show again so that she can explain to us what the fuck a blue card really is, and is it really possible it actually comes into our game. But from the outside looking into it, for the betting space, but also for us who love the beautiful game, Buckets, what's your thoughts on a potential blue card, a little bit of a 10-minute break, and then all of a sudden you have an advantage for 10 minutes before that player comes back on?
So I know that you're going to have a very passionate opinion on this, but I'm just going to say that those eyes tell me exactly what you're going to say. I'm going to say that I don't know what I think about this yet from an actual gameplay standpoint. From a betting perspective, it is going to leave live betting wide open in a match like that. If you were somebody that is meticulously watching a game, looking to place a wager live on that, and then all of a sudden you see, I don't know, Leroy Sané go off with a blue card for 10 minutes, and now Bayern Munich is playing down a man for 10. Those odds are going to shift dramatically, and then 10 minutes later, they're going to bounce right back to where they were. So there's going to be some very interesting value to be had from a live betting perspective. As a fan, I don't think I'm going to like this, but Ian, I'm curious what you have to say about it.
Okay, from a player's perspective, I'm gonna jump in there first and foremost. When I was a player, I was fucking tired quite a lot. Sometimes I would pick up a red card just to take a break. If I knew there was a blue card out there, let me tell you, a 10-minute break would have been fucking perfect for someone like me. Hell yeah! Do you need 10 minutes to go catch up and get yourself ready to go again? Yes, please. Maybe would my team be able to deal without me on the field for 10 minutes? Fuck yeah. A lot of teams had to deal with me for a fucking 10 men anyway when I got sent off the field. But at the same point, I do love what Ange Postecoglou said about it recently. And for those who missed out on it, here's what's going to happen. When you have a player pick up a blue card and have to leave the field for 10 minutes, it's 11 against 10. You are going to have 10 players sitting back in a defensive line waiting for that fucking player to come back on the pitch. It's going to completely destroy the game. It's going to ruin it. It's going to mean that they're going to have 80 minutes, 70 minutes, 60 minutes of nonsense. You're going to have players taking breaks. And what happens if you have 5 or 6 players going off with a blue card in one specific game? This field, this team, that action, it's going to completely destroy things. So I just think that we've got to be very, very careful that we don't ruin our game completely, because we are starting to ruin our game completely. And it is making me mad. I love the betting space dearly, but I love the beautiful game more than I love the betting space. I don't want the game to be ruined, because if the game is ruined, the betting space is completely gone. If we see blue cards coming into this, imagine what that's going to do when you're trying to live bet, Buckets. Because right now, you do see that when a player makes a silly challenge and obviously someone gets sent off the field, the betting gets hold or held.
Yep.
If you get a blue card and someone leaves the field, I can see it being held for 10 minutes. I honestly can. or you're going to see such an advantage or a disadvantage on the lines. It's going to ruin the betting space. It's going to ruin the beautiful game. Please don't fucking do this. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I would love to hear what Christina Uncle has to say about it as well and kind of get that referee's perspective. But I agree with you as a not player myself. There's going to be strategic blue cards in this game. If you've got a really good player who maybe needs a break, wants to rest for a second, and you know your defense is good enough to just sit back and waste time, why not give that guy a rest? Why not play kind of this more defensive style that for somebody that loves betting on overs, both teams to score, first half goals, team totals, blue card actually kind of sounds like a nightmare to the way I bet at least.
I will just tell you a quick story. When I first arrived in Germany, of course, there are internationals who play high Freya, international players who play across multiple countries now, and languages you have to learn when you go to a new country to play your domestic football. When I first arrived in Germany, I didn't speak the language. Obviously, I had to learn the language. So I asked my teammates, hey, what do I say for man on? How do I say referee? Anyway, they proceeded to tell me a curse word was the name for a referee. So in my first game, I go up to the referee and I say, he proceeds to show me a yellow card. Could you imagine, because the blue card is going to be used for dissent, that I walk up and people don't know how to use the language properly? You're going to be off the field. There's going to be fucking players. What happens if there's 6 players off the field at one time? I mean, this is just a recipe for an absolute disaster. Please don't do this. Stop touching our game. Stop interfering with our game. Let's get back to business as usual before we fuck it up. Buckets, you ready for best bets?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I want you to just take a breather because I know you've been a bit rattled. It's Valentine's Day. You forgot to say happy Valentine's Day to your mom. She's now feeling the love, okay? She felt it from both of us today. You need a little drink. You need to get your composure because the bets are where you shine, my brother. You're back in form. Now it's time to get back in the big time profit. It wouldn't be a show of stoppage time if we didn't get some wagers from our betting expert. That is, of course, the blonde bombshell, the unicorn, John Buckets Eimer. Welcome back, Buckets. You got profit last weekend, but we're going for even more profit this weekend. I want 6 bets from you. I want 6 best bets on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. 1 individual best bet for each day. Now, Buckets, I have gone through every single day, and I have noticed that there are cracking games every single day. And in fact, I could have kept going to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. There's that many good games, but I'm not going to do that for you. So let's begin with your best bet number 1, which is, of course, on Thursday.
When we're going to Thursday, of course, everybody knows I'm going to one of my favorite competitions on the planet. I'm going to Europa League, and I just want to say this up front here. I'm looking at the match between Feyenoord and AS Roma, and it is not often to where I look at a line and I look at a book and I say, I wholeheartedly 1000% believe that this line by the book is incorrect. I know the books are smart. They know what they're doing, but I feel like they're not giving credit to Feyenoord and they're not giving credit to AS Roma under their new manager right now. Both teams to score for this matchup is currently minus 120. That is an absolutely outrageous line for how these two teams are playing right now. Roma domestically under their new manager in their last 4 games have scored, I think, 12 goals, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 12 goals in their last 4 matches. Meanwhile, Feyenoord is one of the best scoring teams in the entire Dutch Eredivisie with 55 goals scored in just 21 games. These are 2 teams that in European competitions don't slow down. If you look at Feyenoord in the group stages and in earlier competitions as well, this is a team that just turns on the gas 110%. They do not slow down, and Feyenoord at home are going to want to score 2, 3, 4 goals in this matchup. And Roma have Lukaku. They have the ability to strike back. Both teams to score at minus 120 seems like a gift. The over at minus 110 seems like a gift here, Ian, for a match that I think will see at least 4 goals when it's all said and done.
Roma have scored 10 goals. They have scored 12 across all competitions if you included the friendly game that they played in between there. But they have scored 10 goals since he's taken over, Daniele De Rossi. And by the way, they gave Inter pretty much a scare this past weekend. It wasn't an easy game for Inter, even though Inter's class shone through. And eventually they scored 4 goals on Roma. I think Roma have improved under De Rossi. There's no doubt about that one. So I'm really intrigued to see which way this game goes. Obviously, Feyenoord are a team to be reckoned with right now. They're second in Eredivisie. They're a team to be worried about. They do score goals. They're averaging 2.62 goals per game, which is frighteningly good. And of course, as Buckets already pointed out there, Daniele De Rossi has changed the game for Roma. Now they are no longer called Roma. Now they're called Roma 2 because they score 2 goals every goddamn fucking game. I mean, that's the way it's going right now. So I can see this one hitting very well. Great bet that is, Buckets. I shall be tailing it with more than one unit. Let's go to Friday.
Let's go to Friday, and let's go exactly to what we did last Friday. The exact same wager on one of the exact same teams. I'm looking at Hanover versus Grauder Fürth, and I'm going with the exact same bet in the second Bundesliga. Both teams to score and over 2.5. And I know I've actually seen people say before, Ian, that it's boring betting the same bet every time. I don't care if it's boring because it's going to hit. And as long as it keeps hitting, I'm going to keep betting it. This Hanover team looked tremendous in that derby against Hamburg, in which they won 4-3 in a game that had like 40 minutes of extra time. So much stoppage time to help make that happen. But Hanover, just in general, is playing this high scoring style right now. They've scored 4 goals against Hamburg, 2 against Hansa, 2 against Elversberg, and 3 against Nuremberg. This is a team that is not slowing down, but also is a team that, again, just isn't playing good enough defensive football to stop a team like Fürth, who is above them on the table from scoring. Hanover has 41 goals scored in 21 matches. Fürth has 33 in 21. Both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 110. This is basically an auto bet for me for most of the second Bundesliga teams.
You know, Buckets, we don't communicate when I hear these bets, but I do like to do my research as you're actually announcing the bet. And of course, I always like to come up with a nugget or two just to add to your bet to make it more spicier or for people to understand why you've gone with this bet. And I also like to quiz you every now and again. Over the last 10 games, head-to-head, John Bucketsheimer, how many times has this bet hit?
For head-to-head between the two clubs? Oh, man. I'm going to say an even 5.
8 out of the last 10 head-to-head games dating back to 2012 has both teams to score and over 2.5 total goals in a game hit. It's absolutely ridiculous, Bucket. So I like that bet. And of course, Hanover, after getting that big victory against Hamburg at the weekend, which was very helpful to my St. Pauli boys who lost for the first time this weekend, I'd like to say thank you to Hanover and my former St. Pauli captain, Fabio Moreno, who's doing great work at Hanover as well. We need to take a trip, man. I got too many friends in the fucking game. All right, let's go to your best bet for Saturday. Saturday, there are some big games coming up, and there are games that mean a lot.
Yep, and I'm going to disappoint you because, again, I'm not looking at any of the big games that mean anything. I'm back in the English Championship because I'm going to keep betting Leicester City as long as I can because Leicester City is too damn good to ignore. They just cashed our parlay, their leg of their parlay against Sheffield Wednesday, and now Leicester City, who is top of the table with 68 goals scored and 24 conceded over 32 games, is taking on 13th on the table, Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough is not good enough to be in this conversation, but the books, for whatever reason, are saying that they are. I'm going with Leicester City money line plus over 1.5 goals, Ian. That's minus 120. Middlesbrough has only won 1 of their last 5 matches, and this is a club now that is almost playing for draws. They're getting that early goal, and they're just sitting back, and they're playing for these cagey affairs. And Leicester City is not a team you can sit back and play cagey against. They just have too many good strikers. Look at their last games. 2-0 against Sheffield, 2-1 against Watford, 5-0 against Stoke, 3-1 against Swansea, 3-1 against Birmingham. This is a team that runs over weak competition. And this is a team that is really closing in on that guaranteed promotion right now as they're sitting 12 points ahead of the table, going to home right now. This is going to be a big 3 points for Leicester in a game that I think they're going to win by a 3-1, 4-1 scoreline. So that money line and over 1.5 being playable, to me, makes no sense.
I was looking at the starting 11 from the most recent game that Leicester played, and 9 of the 11 players had scored a goal this season, which tells you how many goals that Leicester are actually scoring. And the Championship, don't ever step away from the Championship. That's where I learned my trade in the English Championship. So that league means a fucking great deal to me, okay? Don't worry about going down there, especially when you're talking about goals and you're talking about action. But I do find it very interesting how you say Middlesbrough. You go Middlesbrough.
I know I said it wrong.
I thought that was pretty good, man. Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough. All right, let's move on then. Let's get to Sunday.
Sunday. Damn it. Yeah. So we're not going to do Middlesbrough for Sunday, but we're going to actually go back to it. We're going to double dip here is what I'm calling it, Ian. We're betting on a Roma matchup once again because Roma on Sunday have a Serie A bout against Frosinone. And if you know anything about Frosinone playing at home, you know that I'm betting they're both teams to score, or in this case, the over 2.5 goals every damn time. Frosinone is an absolute gold mine. It's because they're a gold mine that the both teams to score is minus 175 in this game. I'm not about that, but I am about the over 2.5 goals at minus 130. Roma could cover this over 2.5 by themselves, but I have a really, really good feeling that Frosinone will contribute. If you want to combine these and do that both teams to score and over combo, that gets you to plus odds. But this Frosinone team has now scored in every one of their home matches this season, but 1 in domestic play. This is a team that just lives to show off for their home fans, but they're not playing defense at all. Frosinone has the most goals conceded in all of Serie A with 49 conceded, but they've scored 32 here. I think Roma win, but they're not going to win to a clean sheet, and we're going to see over 2.5 goals at minus 130.
In calendar year 2024 alone, across all competitions, they've conceded 22 goals, Frosinone. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm just looking at the score lines now. It's absolutely crazy. But even that last game, of course, which hit for you against Fiorentina, they conceded 5 goals in that game. They will score goals. I'm just wondering if Roma, obviously, with their mindset in European competition and then dealing with what's coming up in domestic competition, whether they have enough in the tank to be able to keep going and keep going and keep going. But they're obviously chasing their European place for next season, and De Rossi is an animal. So I don't expect them to slow down anytime at all. Let's go to Monday.
All right, Monday. What do you know about La Liga 2 here, Ian?
Yeah.
You know, good.
La Liga 2.
Okay, you're going to help me pronounce these teams then, because I'm probably going to embarrass myself, but I still found a ticket that I love. I'm looking at the matchup between Tenerife taking on Deportivo Alicante. And this is a match that, to me, again, I think the lines are wrong, frankly, because the books aren't caring about the second La Liga. They're busy worried about Champions League, EPL, all these big leagues. So we can always find some sneaky value in these lower leagues. I'm taking Eldense DC, or double chance, at minus 120. What this means is if Eldense wins the match, or if they draw the match, this ticket cashes. And minus 120 is a gift of a line for an Eldense team that has not lost in their last 5, as they take on a Tenerife side that has not won in their last 5. Eldense is better on the table. They've scored more goals. They do concede a lot of goals, but they're playing a Tenerife side that just doesn't score a ton and has not been impressive in their recent form. I think this game very, very, very well could end in a draw, as these are two teams that love a draw, especially Eldense. But that's why we're taking the double chance here. If this ends 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, I don't care, because double chance has us covered.
Yeah, the only thing I would be concerned about in the table, if you look at the position here, Eldense is 13th in the table, Tenerife is 15th in the table. There's only 2 points separating them. So if the home side gets the victory there, they would go above that opponent, which always is something that just comes to my mind. When I was going into a game, I was always thinking, do you know what? Go into this game, try and get yourself 3 points, because you can leapfrog that team, push them further down, push yourself into advanced position. So I think Tenerife could spring a surprise in this game. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Well, I always appreciate your opinion, and we always do that on the show. You're not going to blindly agree with me. Call me out if you think I'm wrong, but to the loyal listeners, you're welcome for this cash ticket in advance, Ian.
Well, the truth is, I really don't know, because I haven't seen any of these teams play, and nor do I give a fuck about Liga Dos. But at the same time, Tenerife is a great island, bit of a party island, Spanish island where you can go and get your groove on buckets. I'm sure you could find a few singles over there, especially if you're looking at the over 55s.
Well, let's go watch the game together. Tell you what, Jeff, we're going to Tenerife, and we're going to watch this game together.
All right, we got one more to go.
Yep, last one. I'm going to Tuesday, and I'm going to the English Premier League and a matchup between Manchester City hosting Brentford. If you do not remember, these two teams played what'll be on Tuesday 2 weeks ago, when Brentford lost at home 1-3 to Man City, in a game where Man City, I am not kidding, could have scored 6 or 7 goals here. They absolutely walloped Brentford after going down early with a Phil Foden hat trick coming in here. But City in that matchup had 25 shots. They had 15 on target. They had almost 75% possession. City really is just good enough right now that even though they have Champions League going on, even though they have cup games going on, no matter what they have going on, the depth they have to where you can put in a Phil Foden and get a hat trick is just terrifying. This City team is too good not to back right now, especially when they're playing at home. I'm taking City over 2.5 team total at minus 120. I need City to once again score 3 goals here, but they did it against Burnley. They did it against Newcastle. They did it against Brentford already. They did it against Everton, Fluminense in a World Cup final, blah, blah, blah. I just keep listing teams. This Man City team scores goals, and especially because they're in this weird race with Liverpool right now, down 2 points with a game in hand, this is the game that can help jump them on the table and put them back to the top, Ian.
Yeah, listen, they're in a real title race now, Manchester City. If you look at their position in the table, obviously second behind Liverpool. They have that big game coming up this weekend before they get to that game against Chelsea this weekend. And my guess would be, of course, against Chelsea, they have to play a full-strength team, because Chelsea, even though they're hot and cold, still a good team, and you still got to beat them. I don't think that Manchester City will take any game lightly, certainly not when Brentford come to town. But I would say this, that I might ladder that game a little bit. I'd probably go 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, because 1.5 is almost a fucking guarantee when Manchester City play. 2.5 sometimes, and even yesterday you saw it in the Champions League. If you're listening to this show on a Wednesday, it was on a Tuesday game in the Champions League when they played Copenhagen. They needed the last kick of the game to get that third goal, and I laddered it 2, 3, and 4 goals. So they didn't get the fourth, but I made profit because I got my 2 and my 3. So I think you got every possibility, and especially with Manchester City right now, they have, and get this, a full strength squad. The only problem I saw from the Champions League was that Jack Grealish got injured in the first half and had to come out. And I'm hearing Bernardo Silva is another one who's going to be missing the weekend's games as well. So they were at full strength going into this week's Champions League. And then at the weekend, they're going to be missing 2 key players. But they got the 2 big boys back. Erling Haaland's back, should have scored a fucking hat-trick against Copenhagen. And Kevin De Bruyne cashed a nice ticket for you, Buckets, because you put it out there on our social medias that he was going to get an assist. He scored first, then he got his assist. He's back.
He's back. And him being back and Haaland being back is all you really need to bet on Man City goals. Yes, of course, they have Julian Alvarez. They have Phil Foden. They have usually Jack Grealish. Anyone can score on this team. But KDB is going to set all of them up to score. I'm probably going to take their team total every match moving forward, as long as the Cyborg and KDB are healthy.
I'm wearing the new Manchester United Stone Roses collaboration here, and just in case people can't see it, Adidas brought this out. And this is not an ad or a sponsor. I'm a big Manchester United fan for everybody out there. But I also love listening to the Stone Roses for everybody out there who enjoys listening to the Stone Roses music. They did a collaboration with United, which I found fucking tremendous. So I was lucky enough to get myself a jersey and get it shipped over here to the United States of America to enjoy. Buckets, are you ready for my best bet?
Yeah, I was just Googling Stone Rosie. It's a musical group. Gotcha.
All right. So as you know, I was disappointed with Bayern Munich last week. So I am now sitting 3-3 for the bet since we've come back with stoppage time and this new platform. And I'm looking to be 4-3 this weekend. And I'm going for a belter. If you're listening to this, put this bet on as soon as you listen to it. My best bet for this weekend, it is called Timo Top Bet. Why am I calling it that? Because it's my good friend Timo Schultz and his team FC Cologne. FC Cologne on the money line plus 145, Werder Bremen plus 180. My best bet here is FC Cologne to score the first goal. I've never placed this wager before, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I love this bet. It's a complete risk. It's a complete gamble, but that's why we're here. It's currently sitting minus 115 on multiple sports books out there. Now, as I mentioned already before, this is a personal bet for me because I do know the head coach of Cologne, and me and Buckets are now new fans of Cologne, hoping they get away from relegation so we can go watch them play in the Bundesliga, hopefully against St. Pauli next year. Here's some stats to back me up because I do have some information behind the craziness that I provide. Cologne are third bottom in the league, 5 points behind 15th place Union Berlin, 21 games played, won only 3, drawn 7, lost 11. At home, played 10, won 2, drawn 3, lost 5, scored only 9, let in 15 goals. Doesn't really bode well for me, does it? Since my former teammate, Timo Schultz, took over the team, they have played 5, they've lost only 1. Okay, they've won only 1, but they've drawn 3 games. Here's where it gets interesting, John Bucketimer, and to all of you loyal listener freaks out there. They've scored first in 4 of the 5 games that they've played, and that's why I'm tailing this bet. The last time these two teams met in Cologne, it was January 21, 2023, and the score was FC Cologne 7, Werder Bremen 1. Cologne scored 5 in the first half last year, which is absolutely insane. God, I would love that to happen again. Werder Bremen are in 10th place in the league right now. They're actually in good form right now. They're a good team to watch. They always are. They did lose to Heidenheim at home at the weekend, but previously they won 3 in a row, including that big win against John Bucketimer's Bayern Munich, 1-0 back on January 21st in Munich. They've also scored first in 3 of their last 4, so please be careful with this bet. It is a gamble, so please bet responsibly. I'm betting with my heart kind of on this one. But Friday nights are fucking awesome, man. Friday night games in the Bundesliga are special. Friday nights are special for the players. They're special in places like Cologne because Carnival just kind of went over in Cologne. And I don't know if many people out there know what Carnival is. It's when people go fucking nuts. And I can only imagine that on Friday, that party will be extended to the Friday night light game, Cologne versus Werder Bremen. First goal. What do you think, Buckets?
I personally am a little bit scared of first goal bets just because you never know what's going to happen, an own goal, a penalty, whatever it may be. But what I will say is that Werder Bremen right now are conceding early. All three of the last goals that they've conceded, two against Heidenheim and one against Freiburg, happened within the first 30 minutes of that match, including in Heidenheim when they can score or conceded in two goals within the first 20 minutes. This is a team that defensively is struggling right now. They got that big win over Bayern Munich and then kind of got a bit cocky. They pulled back. They're making mistakes that Köln can absolutely take advantage of. I will be tailing out of respect for our club and out of respect for you, but this is definitely a risky bet. So make sure you're being responsible here.
Just out of curiosity, as I say, bet responsibly to our loyal listeners out there, isn't all bets risky?
All bets are risky. First goal bets, just I personally have not had a good time with them. So that's why I'm a bit scared here.
Well, that's probably the information you should put out, because there are bets that work for some people that don't work for others. This is the first time, I think, and from my recollection, that I have actually placed this bet, and I couldn't believe I found it. The only reason I found it is because I've been watching every single one of their games, noticing that they score first and then they concede. So, you know, both teams to scores out there, over 1.5. I mean, there are multiple bets you can play from a match like this, but this is a cracking game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 2, 3, or 4 goals in this game. I'm just going to throw it out there. Bremen play, and me and producer Jeff went to watch Werder Bremen play, by the way, back in the day. You know, I'll tell you a quick personal story, Buckets, before we move on and get the fuck out of here. Me and producer Jeff worked together on the Bundesliga for Fox many moons ago. And not that long ago, but it was fucking long ago. It felt like fucking decade ago. It was a decade ago. Fuck. Anyway, we went on a tour. We decided, after working on the Bundesliga at 6:30 a.m. every single morning for years and years and years and years, we said, you know what? We fucking love this league so much. Our friendship had grown. He was my producer every single morning. It was wonderful. The relationship blossomed. And I said, you know what? Fuck this, man. I got to take producer Jeff over to watch some games. I know he's fallen in love with the league. He's already a Borussia Dortmund fan at that point. So we said, let's go watch some games. We flew over to watch an unbelievable string of games. We went to watch Werder Bremen play first and foremost. Max Kruse, my good friend, put us in his suite. We sat and watched that game on Friday night. It was absolutely sensational. Couldn't quite believe it. That was the first game we went to watch. And then we went to watch on the Saturday, Borussia Dortmund were playing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Christian Pulisic scored in that game while we were there. We did some sideline hits on the field. It was fucking sensational, man. He was on the bench hanging out with me. It was just such a great moment, you know, for us to share after working on a league for so long together, to get to share the experience, the atmospheres, the feeling that the Bundesliga brings you. And then, of course, we went to the Hamburg derby on the Sunday, where St. Pauli proceeded to get fucking hammered by Hamburg at home. I did get to go see my former teammates, which was cool. Jeff got to experience that, even though my boys got humiliated in that game. I will never forgive them for that. I'm joking. On the Monday, we went to Dusseldorf to watch them against Eintracht Frankfurt. We got to meet one of the Eintracht Frankfurt players and give him the Rookie of the Year award, which was something we had worked together at Fox with Jeff. It was special, so we got to see down on the field action and see protests in action, because I think the Frankfurt fans were protesting at that time. And then we went to watch Bayern Munich play Liverpool in the Champions League on the Wednesday before. I think it was the Wednesday or the Tuesday before we left. Now, if that is not a dream trip, then I don't know what is, Buckets.
Dude, considering the biggest game I've been to has been a Nashville SC game, I can't imagine going over to Europe and just seeing all these tremendous stadiums and these fans that'll just rock your world. We're going to do a trip like that one day, and I cannot wait for that dream trip to happen.
Listen, you know what's happening. I've been talking to you a long time about this one, of course, and for me and Jeff, it was a great time. It was a great experience. I'm so glad that we're working together again on this project, and so thankful to have him on board with us, Buckets. But I do appreciate you and the hard work and the love that you have for the Bundesliga. And I don't do shit cheap. When I go, we go fucking hard, man. We're going to go for a party, and that's exactly how we did it. So we had a great time there, Buckets. And speaking of a great time, it's been a great time on social media recently. We went live on YouTube for the first time with some big games. And then, of course, we went live on X for the Champions League. What was your experience and takeaway from that?
My takeaway was that we are taking over here, Ian. It's cool to me because in my mind, when we started this, it was like, cool, we do a couple videos a week, and then that's kind of it. You know, we didn't do a bunch on the weekends. We kind of just fell off after that. But now I'm seeing the potential with you, with me, with Jeff of, hey, anytime there's a big game, why don't we go live right before it and talk about lineups, talk about extra bets, the way we can do things. We're changing the game, Ian. I'm very excited to be a part of this journey, not only with you anymore, but with our boy Jeff behind the scenes.
Yeah, you know what's pretty special is that I don't like to compete against anybody else because I don't see competition. I want other competitors to strive. I want them to be successful as well. I just focus on what we're doing and how we're doing it. I don't care what anybody else is doing, really. I just want us to focus on being the best product we possibly can be to give the best possible entertainment to our loyal listeners. And I feel like we've structured the show in a certain way right now. It's obviously going to change as sponsors come in and as we start to do some fun, crazy shit with networks or whatever it may be. It's going to change, and we're going to have to change. I'm probably not going to stop saying the word fuck, but at the same time, we're going to have to change. I do feel that we are growing in such a fantastic way, and doing the social media is really eye-opening to me. How many people out there enjoy the betting space? How many people love to communicate and connect with us? It's really special, the community that we have grown in such a short space of time. And it's such positivity out there. People just want information and they just want to hear from you, and they just want to hear some positivity more often than not.
Yeah, and that's what we've said since day one is yes, we'll be here as a betting show, but our number one priority always on the show is we want to give everyone a chance to just unplug and just get away from all the stress and everything going on in life and just have an hour with your buddies IPJ and the Blonde Bombshell, whether we're talking about bets, my dating life, or serious topics like mental health and kind of, things that a lot of people don't want to touch on. We're here for all of it, and we will continue to be here for all of it. Whether we change or not, certain things will never change, Ian.
So we have noticed one thing very important for everybody out there. We have noticed that there has been a huge jump in subscribers over the last week, and certainly since the last episode dropped, which means a great deal to myself and Buckets. I'm not sure if it's the YouTube algorithm or what the fuck it is, but we definitely noticed a jump and a spike in our subscriptions and views. And of course, that shows, and it means a lot to us. But we don't want that to stop. So we need the likes to keep coming. We need the comments to keep coming. And I would absolutely love to hear people sharing the show, and make sure that we try to spread awareness about betting responsibly, having fun, being entertained, but subscribing to our fucking show, Buckets.
Subscribing to our effing show is super important to me as well, even though I say that like a toddler. Listen, we had great success in the last episode, seeing that subscribers jump by 600, 650 people, but there's no reason we got to slow down. We should be, in my personal opinion, Ian, we should break 2,000 subscribers at least on this episode, if not more. That's what I'm going for.
God damn, I'm hoping to break 3. Never mind 2.
I meant 3. Sorry, I meant 3. 4. It's 10,000 subscribers by the end of the show, Ian, or we're done.
I think we have to a long-term vision here, and we want to make sure that we hit the subscribers. We want to be patient and do it organically as best as we possibly can. So please, if you're watching out there, 42% of you are not subscribed to the show. Subscribe to the goddamn show. Just because we're cool as fuck. Please drop in a comment and let us know that you subscribe to the show. We appreciate you. YouTube obviously needs those numbers to grow as well. So can we get ourselves to more subscriptions? Can we get ourselves to more likes? Can we get ourselves maybe... all right, let me just throw a challenge out here, Buckets. Okay. We're going to get to 4,000 subscribers by the time we get to episode 12. So we've done 6. We've got 6 more to get to 4,000. Is that possible?
I think we go 5,000 by episode 12, personally.
All right, don't get too greedy. Fucking hell, put it on your Tinder profile, man. Make sure everybody out there is watching and sharing the show as much as you possibly can. And for the love of God, please drop in those comments. Buckets has pointed out already. I appreciate everyone dropping those comments in because they make me feel very warm and fuzzy inside. Please make sure you're subscribing, everybody. It might just take me over the edge. What are you doing this weekend?
I felt like this episode had a lot of sexual tension for some reason. Maybe I'm just reading into Valentine's Day too much, but tingle in my box, push me over the edge, taking Buckets for a hot ride or whatever that comment was at the beginning. It's been a lot, so I'm a little distracted. But for weekend plans, I guess I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to put a lot of bets out there. I'm going to have some fun, watch some soccer, and just enjoy myself.
Will you be at all on any of the dating apps this weekend?
I don't think this weekend on it. Tell you what, it depends how Lazio Bayern goes. If Bayern Munich beat Lazio today, I'll be dating, I'll be drinking, I'll be the happiest guy alive. If they don't, I'm off the dating apps this week.
Wow. Okay. So by the time this episode drops, we will know exactly what John Bucketsheimer is doing. Just to let everybody know that I've not been very well recently. I've been feeling pretty down and had caught a bit of a stomach bug virus. It's been a disaster. As you can tell, I'm looking pretty drawn. I'm losing weight. I feel fucking dreadful, as does Hot Cocoa. And my boss at CBS Sports decided to give me an extra day off. He's like, you know what, Ian, you've been working hard recently. Go take another day off. So I'm fucking going to Florida. I'm disappearing this weekend and I'm going in the sunshine. We have been working our tail ends off with stoppage time. I've been working my backside off with stoppage time. It's been fucking awesome. And CBS Sports as well. It's been pretty amazing to watch the Galazzo Network grow the way it has been growing. And I've really enjoyed that project, but it's so much work. And at times, burnout catches up with you. And eventually I got sick. So now the recovery is on. But that's not just the only reason we're going to Florida. We're taking the kids to the Magic Kingdom, Buckets.
I don't know what the Magic Kingdom is.
Well, it's not a strip house.
That's why
it's not a fucking
I'm like, Ian, you don't want to take the kids there. Trust me, that is not okay. Don't say that online either. Is that Disneyland?
Yes,
Okay.
me and Nicole are taking the kids to Disneyland for the very first time, which is amazing. We can't wait for it. We're excited for it. The kids have been, of course, in California where we used to live, but now going to Florida for the very first time. So if you don't hear from me for a few days, you know why. Buckets will be very active on social media with producer Jeff. If they can be bothered, and we do have some winners, we'll share them with you. It'll be exciting to see what happens with this weekend's games. But if you're around the Magic Kingdom wearing some big ears and you see the Joy Boy in there, let IPJ know. Say what's up, man. Love stoppage time. Let me know what wager you're on while you're walking around the Magic Kingdom, because I'm on Cologne first fucking goal. Oh yes, you best believe it. I'll be walking around my cell phone 2:45 Eastern with that kickoff going on. Buckets, has been great, man. Another great show. I know you stuttered a few times because it is Valentine's Day and it's been a busy week for you. But this weekend, I want you to switch off, relax a little bit. I know you've spent some time with friends most recently, but this time I want you to take a weekend for yourself so that next weekend, when you come back with that fucking suite, you are ready to go.
Sounds good. You can say that I should take a break, but we all know deep down I'm not going to take a break. Maybe I'll do something fun for myself, like grab a solo dinner, but I will be on the social medias with Jeff. I will be tweeting out bonus plays. I will be engaging with everyone. I don't do breaks the same time you do breaks, Ian. We got to switch them up or else the viewers will miss us too much.
Got a message from a CBS Sports executive, and he said to me, Ian, what the fuck is going on with Buckets' shelves? Can you have him on there? Could you please tell him to fill his shelves? Could you inform everybody as to what the fuck is going on?
I am working on this damn P.O. box. I have been to this post office. I'm not kidding, 5 or 6 times now. And the application is way harder than it needs to be. I promise you, by this weekend, the P.O. box will be open and we'll start filling these shelves. I'm sure Jeff wants to send me all kinds of Borussia Dortmund nonsense, but we'll get some stuff on these shelves here soon.
But it's been a great show, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the great work. Everybody out there, if you're watching the show this long, we appreciate you. There's a lot of people out there who do so. For the other motherfuckers who turn up for the bets, we appreciate you as well. But make sure you subscribe. 42% of you not subscribed. Subscribe to the show. I appreciate everyone. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Have a winning weekend. Whatever you're doing, please, for the love of God, bet responsibly. Please, for the love of God, make sure you subscribe to our show and drop in a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know exactly what bet you're on this weekend. Let us know exactly what you think about Buckets' dating life and how single he is on Valentine's Day, only to be married next week because he doesn't want to get a Valentine's gift. Is that true, Buckets?
That's what the allegations are. I can't confirm or deny at this moment.
Okay. Well, let's get the fuck out of here, man. Listen, be a great show. Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for watching Stoppage Time. This is our show for you, the loyal listeners, the freak. And I want everybody out there to have a great time this weekend. Make sure you absolutely have it.